all, it's Natalie Dill for A Cherry on Top today, and it's time for Technique Tuesday. And this month we're focused on chipboard. So I have these really basics chipboard pieces from Simple Stories, and I'm going to scrapbook these photos, a huge collage of my pup Lola. She turned 15 the other day, so I thought, well, that old girl deserves to be documented. And this is just some of the photos I have. Like, how embarrassing, right? If she looked at my phone, she'd be like, okay, creeper. So I'm pulling out everyone's favorite giant punch. This is from EK Success, and I always get a ton of questions about it, but it is available at A Cherry on Top. Always a big success. No pun intended. But everyone always really loves this big punch, and I do too. I use it a lot. So these papers are from the Paisleys and Petals collection by Fancy Pants. And I thought it would be a nice girly kind of collection to document my girl Lola. So this is kind of the look I'm going for. I want to offset the dies there, or the punches, and then have them sticking out in the photo. And I thought that would be it, but then, of course, knowing me, of course, I need some mixed media. It was a little stark over there on the right, so I am going to add some mixed media to that. But also, we're going to alter this chipboard because you can probably tell that they don't really match. My thickers are some gold with some pink on the side of the foam. And so the title is going to say 15 because that's how old she is. So now I'm going to bust into these Color Vibe Simple Stories chipboard. And I really love them. They're already coated and colored, but I decided that I wanted to alter them to match my layout. And they do take alteration very well. Before we get into that, I am going to add a little mixed media here. So I just pulled out this stencil from my stash. It's an older Vicky Bouton stencil that I really love. I use it a lot. And I'm just going to very lightly add some Distress Oxide and Sponge Sugar and Wild Honey. And those colors are just kind of from this Paisleys and Petals collection. And I'm making sure not to go to the hard edge of the stencil, just to give it a very organic look here. And I love Distress Oxides because they blend so nicely. And so I'm just kind of putting on the pink and then putting on the orange and then kind of rubbing back over it a little bit with the pink, and they blend beautifully. So you get this like little ombre look. And I'm just matching the stencil up as I go up, and it worked out perfectly. And what's next? Oh, I decided I want to bring some of the blue in. Is that what I'm going to do? Is that what I'm doing next? No, we're going to alter the chipboard next. So I pulled out these two Wow embossing powders. One is pink with silver glitter, and one is some gold sparkly glitter. And so I'm just going to pull out a few of the pieces that I like best. And I'm going to do some in the pink and some in the gold. And I will say, I typically, before this, there's a few pieces that have the holes, and so I would recommend popping out the hole before you do any heat embossing or painting over it, because the embossing or the paint might seal that hole closed, and it might be a little more difficult to pop out, because I do end up tying some twine into these holes for some additional embellishment. So that's why I wanted to pop out the hole. But if you didn't want to pop out the hole, you could paint over it or emboss over it, and then kind of the hole would disappear, which is another cool thing. So I've tried the trays for embossing, and to me, like, I don't know, I just like a piece of paper, because then I can toss it when I'm so kind of messy. I don't like to mix my colors, and like the tray kind of gives me more of an opportunity to mix my embossing powders, and I don't want that. So typically, I'm an advocate for 2 coats of embossing powder on almost everything, especially raw chipboard. The Mente Chippies, I will always do 2 coats. It always looks better. I question it, and then I do it, and then I'm like, yeah, that's right. But I will say, and I think it's because these are already coated, these there was no difference. And I'll show you here in a second. I'm going to show you. These 2 are double embossed, so they have 2 layers, and this one is single embossed. And there's no difference. You can't tell a difference. Maybe a little textural difference if you touch it with your finger, but visually, you can't tell a difference. So I actually ended up only doing 1 coat of embossing powder on all of these chipboard pieces. So I'm using my Gold Sparkle Wow embossing powder. I love it as a great way to add glitter to a page, and you don't have to worry about it falling off. This and glitter cardstock are my go-tos for scrapbooking with glitter, which I do quite often. I love some glitter. And Lola's birthday layout called for glitter. So I'm going to let you watch me heat set all of the melty goodness because it's so satisfying, right? And if I did do any second coats, it's only because I scratched it with my tweezers. So just be careful. It dries pretty quickly, but like at that second after when it's still warm, you can kind of scratch it up. But there's all my pieces. These chipboards take to heat embossing very easily, and you can alter any chipboard that you need to match your layout. Even if you kind of have a pattern on a chipboard, you could cover it up and just have the shape. So here you're about to see a big mistake. I'm splattering some turquoise. Oh, look, I spilled it all over my layout and I have no gesso. But I was able to dab it up really quickly and it didn't really cause too much of a problem. You will be able to see it though below my collage, so you'll see me remedy that in a little bit. So I set that aside to dry. I didn't want to create any more mistakes on it because I did not gesso it. So I shouldn't have spilled a whole bottle of watercolors on it, huh? So I'm using some white twine to fill in those holes I talked about earlier, and just I'm tying little bows, and it's a little bit fussy because there's maybe like 4 or 5 that I do it for on this page, but I do like the look and the texture that it gives, and so I fast forwarded through that, and you can see the little bows over there. So now I'm going to go ahead and add my little scallop borders to the photo collage because I want to make sure that I have them kind of overlapping where you can see the blue through the holes on the other side, if that makes sense, from the pea paper. But also I want to trim it. I want to trim the border to only meet the ends of my photo because it could go all the way 12 by 12, but my photo didn't because I don't have a large format printer, so I only printed in 8.5 by 11. So I'm just going to have these little border pieces meet up with the edges of the collage. So that's why I am going ahead and attaching them to the photo so then I can trim them down to meet the edges. And then we will stick them down. You saw me rubbing the photo at the top. It was like a little bit of a smudge. I got like something sticky on it or something. So I will show you later. I'm just going to cover it up with an embellishment. But just real quick, I'm going to make sure, since I did spill blue at the bottom, I'm just going to add a little splatter at the top and the bottom since those white bits of the paper are going to show because my photo collage doesn't reach to the top and bottom of the page. So I just added a little bit more splatter and made sure to keep my bottle well away from my paper. You know, accidents happen. I like to keep them in my videos because it shows you how I combat them or overcome them, or sometimes you do have to trash it, but in this case it was really easy to overcome, especially if you have like a distressed style like mine. That's probably why my style is distressed, just because I had to work with what I got, and I've got me and I'm clumsy. So now I'm going to embellish, and I'm going to pull out the sticker sheet from the Petals and Paisleys collection, and I'm going to use those as some foundations for where I'm going to anchor my title over here in the right. And they're going to just hang off the page a little bit, and I'm going to trim that off. And so this will be like in a little embellishment cluster around my title, and I did adhere that down with some extra Nuvo adhesive. Now I'm just kind of setting all the chipboard pieces around the page where I would like them to go. That one frame up at the top right is going to house some journaling about Lola. And then I'm kind of just filling some negative spaces of the collage with some of the other chipboard pieces. And I like that one little frame down there above the title. And I'm going to pop a little heart in there. I thought that was a cute look. Yep, I'm liking that. And now I'm doing some like 3rd generation stamping with that same ink color that I used on the background to just give a little bit of color into the journaling block. So it wasn't just like stark white up against already kind of like a white background. So I'm just going to trim that down and adhere that to the frame after I do my journaling inside of it. I'm just going to do a little bit of handwritten journaling about her and the joy that she brings us. She's the light of my life. I love this dog. 15 years is a long time. We got her right after we got married. Yeah, hopefully she's got another good 10 in her. I'm loving putting all these little stars on there. I picked stars and hearts because I thought, you know, that's good for our birthday. But I'm also going to pull out the Paisleys and Petals ephemera pack, and I'm going to use that. The ephemera pack is really fabulous. It has a lot of leaves and florals, and it has a lot of different sizes, which I really appreciate. So I'm going to I put a sticker down first. Well, I should have put it first, but it's going to be the anchor. And then I put the some additional die cuts. So when I put a sticker down, it's flat against the paper, and then the die cuts can kind of be lifted a little bit. I don't adhere them all the way down so they can have a little dimension. So I like to build on that and give little layers on my layout. So that's what I'm doing right there underneath the journaling. And then because I had kind of like the top and the bottom, above and below the collage where the white paper was showing, I did kind of take my chipboard pieces and bring them outside that circle. So I don't have such a linear layout. It kind of brings a little interest and adds a little bit of like not nostalgia, that's not the right word, whimsy to the page, so that it's not just a brick block, like right there, like a perfect rectangle. So that's why I like to bring the elements out. So that's why I'm bringing that little piece of leaf or whatever out, and it extends even past the border of the scallops. So I really like to add that kind of organic look to my page. And then just tucking little ephemera bits everywhere. And I will just kind of pair them up with the chipboard pieces in the negative spaces on the collage. And I think we're about to call it a layout. I could have added some sequins maybe, but I just decided to let the glitter in the heat embossing powder kind of be the shine and the star. So I hope you guys are inspired. Let me know down below if you have any questions. I love to read feedback from you guys. And you can also see this page on the Cherry on Top blog today. And I hope you're inspired to maybe pull out your chipboard, and if it doesn't go with the layout you're working on, well, you can alter it, right? You can change it up to fit whatever you need. You don't have to just use embossing powder. You can also paint things. That would probably be like my next best option. You could ink things up too as well with your Distress Oxides or whatever ink you have. So thank you guys so much for watching. Bye, y'all.